A few years ago, we were hired to handle a case in California, in Los Angeles, in federal court there. Our client distributed its products in convenience stores throughout the country. And in California, a buyer's network contended that our client should continue to pay it rebates beyond the time that our client's contract had expired with that buying network. One of the big difficulties that we faced in the case was just the pressure that was on the company. This was effectively a bet the company dispute. But to add to it, we were in a situation where we had very difficult and contentious opposing counsel. We had a federal judge who had placed us onto a bit of a rocket docket. Eventually the case made its way to trial, and we went down to California expecting that the case would last about 3 weeks. The parties all went into the pre-trial conference the day before trial started, and the judge had everybody come in and said something along the lines of, "Only lawyers could make this case go for 3 weeks. Then he looked at everyone and said, "You have one day to try your case." The judge also cut the case up a little bit by bifurcating the liability portion from the damages portion of the case. But the trouble was that nobody fully understood which claims were being presented. And so we tried to ask the judge which claims they would be, but he basically told us, "I will see you tomorrow at 8:30 to pick a jury." The next day, we came into the courtroom. The judge picked the jury very quickly. And by the end of the day, he had realized that there was no way we were going to be able to try everything in just a day. So he gave us one more day. Finally, at the end of the second day, the judge turned to the jury and told them, "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the lawyers are now going to give their closing arguments. The plaintiff is basically going to say this, and the defendant is basically going to say this." And for the very first time, we knew which issues were being presented to the jury. So I then had the experience of having to madly rewrite my closing argument on the fly. And when I stood up to give it, it was one of those moments where things just clicked. After the closing argument, the jury went back to deliberate. They came back into the room and read their verdict into the record, and it turned out very well. This case was really emblematic of the kind of work that we do at our firm. We work hard with our lawyers, with our paralegals, with our teams to make sure that they develop the skills that they need to fall back on in situations like this. In this case, we had to turn on a dime, and the team did it really masterfully. My name is Colton, and I'm an attorney and shareholder at Markowitz Herbold.